Hello, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rabbi Tamara Kolton, and I'm here to bring in some divine feminine energy because all week we work, but on Shabbos we rest. And Shabbos is so important to me because I'm a Jewish woman, but it's important to me because I'm a feminist. Shabbat is the time when the light of the feminine divine breaks through. And we are in my home. You're going to hear I have a little dog running around. We're in my kitchen. Shabbos is reflected in the home. And before we begin, we're going to have a candle lighting. If you have 2 candles, whether or not you're Jewish, whether or not you're female or male, you can call in the light of the feminine divine. So all you need are 2 candles. They can be tea candles, they can be any kind of candles, and a match and an intention to bring down love and light in this crazy world we're living in this tough time in our country. This is a moment where we're going to say thank you to all that is feminine. Thank you to all the brave women in our country who have stepped forward and broke through silence and shame. Thank you to our spiritual mothers. Thank you, Maya Angelou. Thank you, Eleanor Roosevelt. And I say thank you, Eve, because Eve is my spiritual mother. If you think back to Sunday school and the myth of Eve, we learned about Eve in a way that wasn't true. Eve is actually the divine feminine, and the way the myth was told was a way to steal her power. If you rethink about Eve in light of the Me Too movement, you can really enter what is happening with her. She's breaking free. Eve is the divine feminine. And so on the table here, you can see a few things. First, the Shabbos candles, the challah, which is a traditional sweet bread that we eat on the Shabbat, the most delicious bread you'll ever taste in your life. A Kiddush cup for wine. This is my grandmother's of blessed memory. But there's something on this table that doesn't belong, and that's an orange. The reason why this orange is here is because it is my protest fruit. There's an urban legend that an Orthodox rabbi was asked if a woman can be a rabbi, if a woman has the spiritual authority and knowledge and access to God like a man. And the rabbi said, a woman belongs on a bima, which is the Hebrew word for an altar or a stage, the way an orange belongs on a Seder plate, meaning she doesn't. Because if you know something about the Seder, it has a plate with desert food, dry food like matzah, bitter herbs, a little bit of green for the breaking free of the spring, but certainly there's no orange trees in the Judean desert. So what he was saying is, a woman is out of place. A woman would stand out and it would be something awful. It wouldn't fit. So out of protest, women and men in Jewish households, and now I think there's thousands and thousands on Passover, put an orange right in the middle of their Seder plate to say, women belong on the bima. So I think this is so important that we should not only do this one time a year, but every Shabbos we should put an orange on our Shabbos table. And my spiritual message is called Oranges for Eve. It's bringing together feminism and spirituality, returning to our sacred mother, Eve, who is one of the divine emanations of the feminine. So we are going to light our lights, say the blessing. I'm going to sing a song. I hope you'll like it. And draw in the light of all that is good, all that is brave, the light that speaks the truth and sheds light on the darkness. And the way we're going to do this is we take our hands and we draw 3 concentric circles forward, as if you're drawing the light to yourself. Then you close your eyes, and I'll say the blessing in Hebrew, but you can say any blessing you'd like. I'll sing a song, and I want you to imagine light coming, descending on you, wrapping yourself in light, wrapping your home in light, wrapping your neighborhood in light, expanding to wrap your city in light, wrap your state in light, wrap our country in light, and then see it all holding this blue sphere on planet Ocean that we live on. We live in the most gorgeous place in the cosmos. One of the astronauts, when he went to the moon, said if he had been born on any other planet and he had seen planet Earth, he would have longed for the most beautiful place in the world. That's our home. We're here, and we bring that light to our home. So if you have your matches, we're going to light the lights and say the blessing. Baruch Shemo, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Shemo. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kidshanu B'mitzvotav V'tzivanu Lahadlik Ner Shel Shabbat. Bless our homes, bless our neighborhoods and our cities, and bless our country with light, with brave women and men, with truth. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidchem l'shalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now that we have lit our lights, we have brought down light, especially from the feminine divine, and we have asked in this song for the angels to come to our lives, and not just the angels, but the angel of angels. We want just the best on Shabbos, the highest of angels. So now, just for a moment, we learn, because on Shabbos we restore ourselves, and we do that by resting, by returning to what is significant, by introspection, by song, by ritual, and also by study. And I posed a question this week. The question I asked, well, I was a promise actually, was that I was going to give you the number one fail-proof answer to how to be happy. That's a big, big, tall order. So first of all, I'm going to do a confession, but it's not a true confession. It's nothing too secret. But I would start by saying that I wouldn't say I'm inherently a happy person. Maybe I seem like that to you, and I'm so happy that I come off that way. But I'm also being asked to pick up my Finley. Speaking of happiness, this is Finley. I have to fight for happiness. I don't wake up in the morning and feel like great. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I actually have to count to 3. I have a contract with myself that if I count, 3 is go, whether it's jumping into a pool, a lake, going on Facebook Live, sending out my message, or just getting out of bed. So I say 1, 2, and 3 I go, because otherwise I might stay in bed. I have to fight for my happiness. And so I've spent a lot of time thinking about it, and I work on it. And what I've realized in my life is that happiness isn't the right question. Happiness comes and goes. Joy is more sustainable. It's a higher vibration. Pleasure comes and goes. Happiness isn't really attainable. It's not sustainable. The right question is this: is there purpose and love at the center of my life? If I ask myself that question, is there purpose and love at the center of my life, then I feel yes, and I can get out of bed. Am I happy isn't the right question, because it comes and goes, but there's one other reason. This is what the Dalai Lama says. He says that we are suffering in the West because we're much too self-centered. And it's not that he's saying we're selfish, it's that this self-orientation is miserable. And the way to feel better is to be other-oriented. In Tibet, there's actually no word for suicide. There were no instances of suicide in Tibet until the Tibetans were exiled and they had their first suicides. The Dalai Lama says we didn't know what that word was, and he lived in this enclave in Tibet all his life, and then he left, they were exiled by the Chinese, and he wrote this book, and as you know, many, many books, and now he's one of the great teachers. And he said that he always thought when he was growing up that we were happier in the West because we had all the good stuff. We had cars and we had travel and we had more stuff. But he realized when he actually encountered us that we were actually absolutely the opposite, that we were hurting. And he said the reason why you're hurting in the West is because you're self-absorbed. If you want to be happier, have empathy, meaning get involved with other people. So this is the message. If you want to be happy, the number one fail-proof way is ask yourself 7 words. 7 words. If you're in bed in the morning, it's afternoon, it's night, any time of day, 7 words. Here they are. How can I help you feel better? Or how can I help your life? How can I help you with your best life? I think that's 7 words. And you can do this so many ways. You can do this with your dog. I'm going to put Finley down now. You can do this with your children. You can do this with your spouses. You can leave your home and just find someone to be kind to. Kindness is a verb, and that verb is the key to happiness. The kinder I am, the happier I am. the more angry I am, the more miserable I am. It's not really that this is about being selfless. It's actually very selfish, because if we get out of ourselves, we feel better. So what I've learned, and I'm 48 and I'm still learning, is that the only secret to happiness that I have been able to sustain is to put purpose and meaning in my life. And the road to purpose and meaning is paved by these 7 words. How can I help you feel better? How can I help you feel better? And you can substitute it out with other words. How can I make the world better? How can I make my home nicer? But it's how can I that brings the real peace that we're all searching for. And that is the peace that we're asking for in our lives. And on Shabbat, we focus on this. We return to the truth, which is that we are meant to live good lives. We are meant to live in peace. We are living on a beautiful planet ocean. We're meant to love it here. And so I hope that you will take this message, that I've been helpful in some way. Thank you to everyone that's watching. I see names that I know, like Melanie and Elizabeth and Monica. I had my husband watching from the other room, Isaac, which I think is a really, really nice thing. And everyone whose names popped up or who will watch this. Thank you for supporting me in my work. And I hope that you have the most beautiful next 24 hours. Shabbat is when the sun goes down and the moon comes up on Friday. And Saturday, when the sun goes down and the moon comes up, is another day. And Anita, I wish you shalom. We deserve peace. We need peace. So we just ask, like the great cosmic mother who just wants her children to have a good life, to bless each other with peace. Amy, Shabbat Shalom. I hope your candles are lit. I hope there's more peace in your heart. And if you want to ask me any questions or write in or email, can always include those on another Facebook Shabbat Live with Rabbi Kolton in her home, and we had a little guest. We had a guest star, and his name is Finley, and he's my first dog, and he's one of the great loves of my life, along with my children and my family. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.